Thank you. Hello, thank you for being here. I'm very pleased to give an opportunity to share our security of cryptocurrency exchange BITBOX with you today at the Line Developer Day in this year. The reason I decided to publicly talk about our security is that it seems less people are trusting cryptocurrency exchange because exchange has been attacked and there are so many scams such as access scams. So I share our security in detail and I hope to get your trust through this presentation. Also, this presentation will be presented at HeadCon, that is most famous security conference in Taiwan. I'm Sanghwan Ahn, and I would like to introduce myself briefly. I'm a senior security engineer currently working in the security department at Line Corporation. And I'm mostly involved in designing security architecture and developing software related to trusted computing based on state-of-the-art security technologies such as white box cryptography, ARM Trustion, and HSM and Interest-GX. My work also involves evaluating and finding vulnerability in those technologies. Also, I am a mentor at the Best of the Best, that is security education program to train white hat hackers and security experts with elite cybersecurity skills who are able and willing to defend South Korea against malicious hacking attacks. And I have been given presentation at security conference, including Secure Inside, KimchiCon in Korea, and Line and Intertrust Security Summit, PACSEC, and Code Blue in Japan, and HitCon in Taiwan. Let me briefly introduce BITBOX to you before starting main topic. BITBOX is Line cryptocurrency exchange, offering a user-friendly UI and convenient customer service along with robust security to users around the world, except in Japan and United States. As you all know, BITBOX blockchain has grabbed the global attention, so naturally became a valuable target for cyber attacks, especially cryptocurrency exchange, where a large amount of money transits every day. As a consequence, many of those exchanges have been targeted, resulting in heavy losses for users. One of the most recent attacks in Japan has been attackers stealing around $600 million. To get out of the trouble, or to avoid getting into trouble, BITBOX was designed by top-tier security engineers and security hackers working at the Line Corporation using state-of-the-art technology and taking into account a broad range of threats that some failed to recognize in the past. BITBOX is focused on safeguarding user assets using a wide spectrum of defense mechanisms, both technological and non-technological. What I'm going to talk about today is how cryptocurrency exchanges have been attacked and how we should design cryptocurrency exchange to make them secure against a wide variety of threats. This presentation is divided into two main sections. The first one is cryptocurrency exchange security threats, and the second one is our security strategy and tactics. By the end of this presentation, I hope you will trust the security design decision have been made with BITBOX. Okay, then let's talk about target attack on cryptocurrency exchange. Those are not different from traditional attacks. Adversary exploit software vulnerabilities such as 0-day or 1-day, or they obtain employees' credential via phishing attack, targeting executives or employees using malware carried on a USB drive or by email. Then they gain unauthorized access to the system and find the wallet key and copy it and use it to transfer cryptocurrency from that wallet into their own wallet. They could also manipulate some trade data to get their advantage. Another scenario is that the attacker is already inside. He may be a developer and security engineer and infrastructure engineer, even one of the executives. Malicious insider may neither send sensitive and classified information to other parties or conspire with the other hackers to stage the attack. Even though many cryptocurrency exchanges deploy some security measure and attempt to protect their service, we have seen their security architecture allow such failures. This is because cybersecurity is an unfair game. To break the system, the attacker only needs to find one single vulnerability to exploit. While to protect system, the defender needs to all the vulnerabilities. This means the more complex the system is, the easier it is to be compromised and the harder it is to defend. We all know there is no perfect security, but there are ways to make security almost perfect. We use two strategies: strong layered security and defense in depth that is focused on cryptocurrency exchange. The idea behind the layered security is that every single defensive measure is flawed, but by combining a series of different security measures, they will protect from each other flaws. An example combination might be firewall, intrusion detection system, and malware scanner integrity check procedure and data encryption and something like that. This way, each security measure can cover the gaps of the others. If there are weaknesses in any layer, the other layer have to mitigate them. But when there are multiple weaknesses in every defense layer, this whole could ultimately line up and allow a potential risk to develop into an unsafe situation. Defense in depth is more comprehensive security strategy than layered security. Layered security is only one component of defense in depth. It assumes a broader range of scenarios which cannot be covered using technological means or new security threats that are not traditionally recognized, such as disaster, malicious insider threat, and zero-day attack, and compliance issue, and etc. When implementing defense in depth for cryptocurrency exchange, the core defense design needs to encompass layered security, monitoring, and assurance. BITBOX layered security is almost the same. The other services from Line, such as Line Messenger and Line Pay, there are physical security, network infrastructure security, application service security, and data encryption, traffic encryption, and two-factor authentication. But the biggest difference is that it is focused on protecting wallet key, even if an adversary gains a control over application or API servers. and using state-of-the-art security measures such as hardware security module and white box cryptography. Monitoring encompasses a wide range of different kinds of monitoring, including not only security event monitoring, but also internal audit, compliance, and security risk management, such as anti-money laundering and anomaly detection on the exchange. Assurance means guaranteeing to our users trustworthiness and safety with external auditing and also safeguarding user assets, safeguarding in the case an incident occurs. Assets are also protected by insurance in some case. While enterprises thought that creating more layers of security depends by using more security tools would keep them safe from security threat. But the problem is that those tools often do not and cannot communicate with each other. This lack of integration interferes with the security team as they have no comprehensive view of all of their security. To mitigate this problem, we are doing status check of each individual layer every day. But furthermore, the integration of multiple layers of defense is not enough to guarantee the security of exchanges. Integrating security into the software development cycle and the platform operation is also very important, as important as the integration of multiple defense layers. Many enterprises often execute security review right before the product release. It causes many security threats. Details are easy to miss, and any issues identified run the risk of delaying product release, and at worst, uncaptured vulnerabilities in the production. This is why security is embedded in every part of our development process and platform operations. Security is fully integrated in every part of BITBOX, from the development process to the platform operation. When designing BITBOX, we followed a few base principles. First of all, perfect security does not exist, as you all know. But we know that there are ways to make security almost perfect. That's why we are trying to focus on building a near perfect security using all the way we can. Secondly, the security design assumes that the adversary is already inside, and we aim to protect user assets even when the adversary has a control over application and API servers. Thirdly, we don't trust any insider, even the executives. When we perform a critical operation such as key ceremony, such operation should be done under supervision of multiple trusted parties. Also, things like the key generation program and script code should be reviewed by others beforehand. Lastly, the principle of least privilege is applied to all the people involved in BITBOX, and every role is separated. This is our network infrastructure security architecture. Basically, all the clients communicate with the server through a CDN. The CDN is used to provide faster service and distribute traffic globally, but it is useful to hide the origin server location. DDoS protection automatically deflects network layer DDoS traffic and absorb application layer DDoS traffic before an attack can reach the application origin. This way, common attack is mitigated within seconds. In case of massive and complex DDoS attacks, it will be redirected to an anti-DDoS router that can handle massive amount of traffic and filter it. There are also various security layers in the network infrastructure, such as firewall and intrusion detection system. Moreover, the internal network and BITBOX network are completely segregated. In Jive and other hacking cases, many attacks start with the access to the internet network. So if an attacker gets access to our internet network, they cannot access BITBOX network. The server inside BITBOX network are logically segmented, and a number of monitoring systems is such as internal IDS, malware scanner, incident monitoring tool, and integrity check tool are installed on each server. All the security events generated by those monitoring systems are sent to a SIEM and monitored in real time. The other important thing is to design service architecture so that the attacker cannot steal a wallet key and cause abnormal operation. Each component, such as business layer, exchange core, wallet core, and key management service, are separated and bound using ACLs. All servers are accessible only to employees with access permission using a token-based rather than password-based authentication system. Also, the traffic between the server is encrypted and protected so that an attacker cannot manipulate, transmit data to cause abnormal operation using MITM attacks. The KMS is an important service that performs cryptographic operations. It cannot reach the internet, and its access is controlled using a whitelist so that only the wallet core can connect with. Access to the system, access to the KMS is also monitored in real time, and no one should be able to reach it. The wallet key is generated and stored inside the HSM, and all the transactions are signed within the HSM. This way, attackers should never be able to obtain the wallet key even when they have a control over API, server, and application, because all cryptographic operations are operated within the HSM. To protect user asset, we are using multi-signature wallet, and one of the wallet signing key is held by third-party cosigner. In order for an attacker to steal user asset, they would have to obtain the third-party cosigner key as well as our BITBOX key. This way, we can safeguard the user asset more securely. I will give more detail on our wallet security a bit later. Another important thing is that cryptocurrency exchange should be designed to prevent black money coming into exchange or being used for money laundering. But for this, we have two services, KYC and KYT, which are part of our risk management system. KYC means know your customer, and KYT means know your transaction. KYC is used to identify the customer is legitimate customer. We have a sanction list issued by other countries, and we check if the customer is included in the sanction list. If he is not, he is considered a legitimate customer. Moreover, all the funds deposit into and withdrawn from the exchange are monitored to prevent money laundering. This is called KYT. I will give more detail on our risk management system, including KYT, and how to prevent money laundering and exchange monitoring later. Let's talk about wallet security in more detail. We have three kinds of wallets: cold wallet, warm wallet, hot wallet. All inbound cryptocurrency cryptocurrency transfers, such as deposit, can only be sent to the warm wallet. The warm wallet is restricted so that it can only send transaction to the cold wallet and hard wallet. All outbound cryptocurrency transfers, such as withdrawal, can only be sent from the hard wallet. And the vast majority of funds are kept in the cold wallet. The cold wallet is inside the high security room, which is completely isolated from the outside world. No internet access allowed, monitoring with physical security, and only accessible to authorized person under strict access control. Only the minimum funds for wallet operation are stored in hard wallet. This means that if an attacker steals the hard wallet keys, almost the total funds are still safe. But we don't want the attacker to take even the funds deposited in the hard wallet. A policy for multiple approval is applied to all cryptocurrency exchange transfers, such as from cold to warm, from warm wallet to hard wallet, from hard wallet to external wallets. Velocity and spending limit policy are also applied to all wallets. So important amount of money transit cryptocurrency cannot be transferred in a short time span. Also, we don't use any single key-based wallet. All our wallets, such as cold wallet, warm wallet, hot wallet, are multi-signature wallet. Standard transaction on the blockchain network are single signature transaction because transfer require signature from only one key. But single signature transfer are vulnerable to many security threats. Once an attacker takes the wallet key, they can directly make a transaction to transfer cryptocurrency into their own wallet. Multi-sig wallet, on the other hand, require more than a single key to authorize a transaction. When creating a multi-sig wallet, we can define how many signatures there should be in total, and how many of them are required to make signature transaction. Our wallet are 2 of 3 multi-sig wallets. There are 3 keys in total, and 2 keys are required to make transaction. 1 key is backup key, used in case of disaster recovery. This key is encrypted with randomly generated passphrase and stored each encrypted key and passphrase in the keyboard in the different high security room geographically. The other 2 keys are used to sign a transaction during normal operation. One is owned by BITBOX, and the other is owned by a third-party cosigner. This cosigner key is also stored in a HSM and never exposed outside of the HSM. Our key, the BITBOX key, is split into the several shards using a standard algorithm like Shamir secret sharing, and each admin and or signing system have their own unique part. Each sharded key is encrypted with the admin passphrase and re-encrypted with the white box implementation. The important thing here is that nobody knows the white box cryptographic key. To put it briefly, in the white box implementation, cryptographic keys are mathematically transformed into something like pre-computed lookup table, so they never leave it in a plain text form in the memory even during execution of cryptographic algorithm. With such security in the place, it becomes extremely difficult for attacker to know cryptographic keys. Even if multiple administrators conspire, there is no way to reconstruct the original BITBOX key outside of the system because of the white box implementation. And I will now explain more about our risk management system used for detecting money laundering and market manipulation. We are monitoring all cryptocurrency transfers such as inbound, outbound, and internet cryptocurrency transfers in near real time. As I mentioned earlier, internet cryptocurrency transfers are monitored and need to be approved by an admin. So those parts are safe enough, I guess. But the key problem is that money laundering and market manipulation. To prevent money laundering, we investigate the reputation of external wallet addresses used to deposit or withdraw cryptocurrency. Since we can see the public ledger containing the whole transaction history in the blockchain, so we can track the transactions. To make it simple, if we know about black market wallet and malicious minor wallet information, we can track the flow of funds through that wallet and check whether external wallet used to withdraw from or deposit to the exchange wallets have connection with those black wallets. We call this process KYT. If there is a link between an external wallet and black wallet, we reject the transaction. Another key problem is market manipulation. I want to show you this video for a moment. This is trading chart when Syscoin was pumped, suddenly using API attacks on Binance. Syscoin was being pumped. At the end, it was pumped to 96 BTC. The attacker had bought a lot of Syscoin in advance. Then they attacked, pumping the price of one Syscoin to as high as 96 BTC and sold his coin at a high price. This attack exploited API key used for automatic trading and bot. The attacker collected the API keys using malware, and once they had gathered enough stolen API key, and then they attacked. Fortunately, Binance said that it had responded promptly to previous suspicious trade alerts sent by their risk management system and automatically disabled all operation. Looking at this API attacks on Binance, we can see how important real-time monitoring and prompt response to suspicious trade are. This is why we also have an exchange monitoring system as one component of risk management system for detecting market manipulation and respond quickly, immediately. We are looking for suspicious trades from all transaction history through various rules and data analytics. For example, something like many transactions in a short amount of time many transactions in a short amount of time, or multiple transactions with a low variance would be considered suspicious. Security is fully integrated in every part of BITBOX system from the development process to the platform operations. And also network infrastructure security is designed well enough to predict, prevent, detect, and respond quickly to all security threats. Furthermore, attacker cannot access the wallet key even if they gain a control over API server and application server, because the wallet key are stored inside an HSM. All transactions and trade are monitored by our risk management system. When something happens, we respond instantly. Also, we have multiple measures in place to protect user assets in case any incident occurs, such as wallet protection, risk management system, disaster recovery measure, wallet breach, and asset also protected by insurance in some case. What I would like to say proudly that BITBOX security is made by top-tier security engineer and hackers. Also, BITBOX has been operating for about 4 months, but actually BITBOX security has more than 20 years of experience against the security threat. Because we have over 20 years security experience operating neighbor and line services. Therefore, please feel free to use BITBOX. Finally, I would like to share our future works. The one thing is that we are preparing a white paper about BITBOX security next year. There are many reasons to write white paper, but it is to receive evaluation from external experts and researchers by publishing white paper. I think this is a way to gain trust from the user. And also it is difficult to tell security details in an hour. And other one thing is that we are doing money laundering group profiling to make better blockchain ecosystem, and then we want to share this information with other cryptocurrency exchanges in any way. Well, that's all from me today. I hope that my presentation helped you to understand security of our cryptocurrency exchange, BITBOX. Thank you.